Means of transportation.
Transportation is a fundamental component of logistics, responsible for moving goods across locations, including internationally. It encompasses not only vehicles but also the entire infrastructure and systems enabling this movement. Thanks to technological advancements and urban development, transportation has become a seamless and essential part of business operations and daily life. It serves as the backbone of international trade, with delivery routes and shipping terms determined by commercial agreements. Reductions in time, cost, and distance have transformed transportation from a costly necessity into a potential competitive advantage for many companies. However, transportation is also the sector with the highest environmental impact due to fossil fuel dependence. As a result, nations are increasingly promoting sustainable alternatives to mitigate climate change and reduce pollution.
Types of international transportation.
Depending on a company's needs, and based on the line of business, product type, situation, budget, available time, and other individual characteristics, there is a great variety of shipment types to choose from. The modes of transportation are as follows: maritime, railway, inland by road, aerial, pipeline or direct conduit. The benefits and risks of each type of transportation are described next. Maritime transportation.
It involves the movement of merchandise by maritime means, using ships or vessels. It is the most used means of transportation for merchandise on a global scale due to its ability to move large volumes of cargo across two geographically distant points at a relatively much lower cost. The employment is done from port to port through cargo agents or shippers. Shipments are made in special containers, but they can also be done outside a container if the goods cannot be integrated into one because of their proportions.
Advantages. It has the lowest tariff per ton or volume out of all the types of transportation. It is the most used kind of international transportation. Uses containers that simplify and reduce maritime freight costs. Ideal for large volumes and great distances.
Disadvantages. Very slow. It has the highest in-transit inventory cost out of all the kinds of transportation. Unsuitable for perishable goods. Route limitations. Must be employed with considerable anticipation. Slow and high-cost maneuvering. Requires special crates. There is a risk of merchandise theft.
Inland transportation by railway, train.
It involves the movement of merchandise through a man-made railway infrastructure that extends over countries and allows the transportation of large volumes and heavy cargo weights between two inland points at a relatively low cost. A locomotive pulls a great number of rail cars, making transportation affordable. It is employed from station to station by bulking agents. Depending on its characteristics, the cargo is transported in special containers, rail cars.
Advantages. It is one of the cheapest means of transportation. Its capacity goes from 40 to 80 tons per rail car. Full car and consolidated car. Efficient for intermodal shipping. Ideal for bulk cargo, like agricultural and mineral produce. It can travel long distances and carries very heavy and voluminous cargo. It is one of the means that is less affected by weather conditions. Insurance premiums are very reasonable. Offers cargo monitoring. Disadvantages. Access is forcibly restricted depending on railway infrastructures. Specific working hours and inflexible frequency. It is slow, it has an average speed of 26 miles per hour. It is constantly delayed. Slow and high-cost maneuvering. Requires special facilities and equipment availability. High cost for in-transit inventory. Unsuitable for short to medium distances and small to medium loads. High equipment maintenance costs. There is a risk of merchandise theft.
Inland transportation by road, truck. It involves moving merchandise in a truck through man-made road networks. It offers great flexibility in traveling from one point to another, since it does not require a specific infrastructure. The loading and unloading facilities do not need a lot of investment, and it is a relatively fast kind of transportation. It is employed from door to door. Inland transportation is omnipresent in daily life and on the highways. Trucks are its backbone. Inland transportation is carried out in many ways, and therefore it uses many different vehicles. We must choose the option that better adapts to our needs, depending on the type of merchandise to transport, and the vehicle proportions or infrastructure. Advantages: flexible enough to offer door-to-door deliveries. Delivery times are considerably faster than by railway. In-transit inventory times are short. Little requirement of special facilities. The cost for maneuvers is low. Covers short and medium distances. Issuing and delivery timings are flexible. Works well for perishable and fragile products. Withstands different weather conditions. Disadvantages: size and weight restrictions for cargo. Parcels and crates are sometimes more expensive than the ones used in other types of transportation. Greater risk of accidents while in transit. Higher insurance premiums. There is a risk of merchandise theft on the road.
Aerial transportation. It involves the movement of merchandise in an aircraft in very short and efficient times, at a relatively high cost. It offers the possibility to reach practically any part of the world quickly. It is used for urgent or highly important loads. Cargo is usually loose and is shipped by quota or position. There are restrictions on hazardous products, but there are also some products that can only be moved by air. A feature that better defines this kind of transportation is that it does not need an inland path during its course, only during takeoff and landing. Because of its speed, the use of cargo aircraft for merchandise transportation has had a remarkable increase in the last few years. Its speed justifies the higher cost it requires to be compared to the other means of transportation. Advantages: quick and efficient, its speed goes from 545 to 585 miles per hour. Low packaging costs. Maneuvering is more affordable. Minimal in-transit inventory times. Swift availability of the product and equipment. Does not require facility investment. It can reach any part of the world. Excellent for perishable and fragile products. Minimal theft risk. Cargo needs less protection encasement than in other kinds of transportation. Disadvantages: freight costs are much higher than in any other option. On average, its cost is 3 times higher than truck costs. Cargo size limitations. Some products are not accepted in air transportation. Not recommended for large volumes due to space limitations and high freight costs. Limited airport space for loads. The service is suspended when weather conditions are not favorable.
It is used to transport water, oil, gas, and suspended solids. It is one of the cheapest known means of transportation, as it mainly uses gravity to work. The pipe diameter varies from 3 to 48 inches. Pipeline transportation is often used to direct gas, liquids, or solids through pipes that are part of a transportation network or system. It involves the drainage of effluents, such as wastewater, rainwater, and sewage systems, using gravity, as well as raw material transit for the food industry. The elements that are generally moved through pipes are oil or liquid hydrocarbons, natural gas, gas for fuels, and chemical substances. The pipeline can have different names depending on the product carried, and the regulations and construction and operation methods also vary. The main pipeline transportation systems are natural gas moved through gas pipelines and liquid hydrocarbons.
Transportation mode selection and freight tariffs. The choice of transportation mode depends on product type, company strategy, and operational contingencies. For example, a steel tube exporter to New York would likely use rail or truck, prioritizing cost, while an orchid exporter would use air freight, prioritizing speed. Unless urgent shipments arise, the mode is determined by the nature of the product. Key decision factors: cost and time. Perishable or high-value goods prioritize time, absorbing higher costs. Industrial or bulk goods prioritize cost, accepting longer transit times. Freight tariff determinants. Distance. Weight and dimensions. Merchandise type, density, handling, risk. The National Motor Freight Classification, NMFC, standardizes product classes and shipping tariffs based on density, handling, storage, and risk. Cargo classifications. General cargo, loose or unitized, pallets, containers. Full truckload, TL. Or less than truckload, LTL. Bulk cargo, liquid or solid. Tariffs are regulated under NMFC based on distance, volume, especially for LTL, and classification. Modern transportation systems offer flexible options tailored to specific shipping needs.
Types of cargo and transportation selection in international trade. Selecting the appropriate transportation mode in international trade is based on three main criteria: cost, type of product, and service performance, reliability, capability, accessibility, safety, time, and sustainability. Additional factors include urgency, weight, volume, value, handling requirements, delivery frequency, and liability. To guide decision-making, companies should consider key questions such as: is the volume a full truckload or less than truckload, LTL? Does the product require special equipment or containers? What is the delivery deadline? What logistics platforms are available along the route? Are there existing agreements or alliances with providers? Is the service available? The goal is to choose the most cost-effective option that meets all operational requirements. However, the decision process should go beyond these basic questions. Factors like environmental impact are increasingly relevant, and more complex operations demand additional considerations to ensure all specific needs are addressed.
Technological tools in transport management. Technological innovation has become essential for competitiveness in global trade and e-commerce. Companies increasingly rely on mathematical algorithms and ICTs to optimize decision-making, resource allocation, and service levels in transportation and distribution. Key functions of ICT in transport management. Real-time tracking of goods and transport units. Monitoring transit times, inventory, vehicle maintenance, and purchase status. Coordination among administrators, clients, transporters, and dispatchers. Enabling value-added strategies like cross-docking, transferring goods without storage beyond 24 hours. Regional context. ICT adoption in Latin America has been slow due to administrative, regulatory, and infrastructure limitations. Chile and Brazil lead the region in logistics infrastructure and competitive freight flows. Emerging trends. Use of robotic intelligence, sensors, Wi-Fi, and the Internet of Things, IoT. For transport and communication, OECD. Integration of intelligent transport systems via web-based platforms using standard Internet technologies. The goal: unify logistics processes into single integrated systems with effective interfaces for timely, data-driven decisions. These tools enable companies to balance cost, time, and quality, supporting their entry or permanence in global markets.